Every year, thousands of migrant workers travel to Singapore in search of work and a better living. They come from places as far as Bangladesh and India, and with their hard labor and sweat, they help build this city. But far from earning the lucrative salaries they were promised, many are laid off without compensation. Often injured and without food and shelter, these are broken men in a foreign country with very few people to turn to.
The journey began when the five of us wanted to do something different, something which would benefit people beyond our own individual circles. The Transient Workers Count Too charity came to the fore and we were looking for charities in the red. TWC2 is a local charity which serves to aid migrant workers in Singapore. Before we started, we had to understand the plight of these migrant workers. We caught the annual Migrant Workers Film Festival screening at the substation. The films shadowed true stories of individuals who ventured from places as far as Bangladesh and India. Some came via work agencies, which turned out to be hoaxes, while others were denied their salaries for months on end. There were even some who were abused and beaten by their employers. We realized that there was so much we could do and linked up with TWC2's Soup Kitchen project, the Car Fruit project. This initiative offers free meals to male workers with employment-related issues or on special passes. They are stranded in Singapore with no employment, but are not allowed to return to their homeland.
The Car Fruit project is run mostly by volunteers with TWC2 and some church members. Every day, the volunteers dispense basic medicine and help workers resolve medical and legal issues. On our first visit to the restaurant, a normal eating place which specially caters to migrant workers on selected days, we spoke with Debbie, the person in charge of the Car Fruit project. She suggested that we talk with some migrant workers to learn more about their plights. This migrant worker told us he suffered an injury to his leg during work and is having difficulty obtaining reimbursement for his injuries at the company he works for. While most Bangladeshis can speak some English, they are more conversant in their native Bengali, and we found it easier to communicate with them in Bengali. On a subsequent visit to the Car Fruit project, we approached a migrant worker to show us the living conditions which he and his fellow workers have to endure. The migrant worker brought us to the second floor of a disused shophouse unit somewhere in Little India. At least 20 migrant workers live illegally in one of these units. They share a common toilet and washing area. They sleep on metal frames with a cardboard placed under their bodies. Clothes are hung on the walls and off the bed frames. They do not open the windows for fear of being caught living there. The unit is so stuffy that each of the workers has an electric fan placed at the foot of his bed to keep him cool when he sleeps. One of the migrant workers shared with us the story of his injury. His thumb was injured during work and is infected. Now he is awaiting further treatment for his injury. In the meantime, he is unable to work and thus is not earning. Seeing how the migrant workers suffer from improper living conditions because of insufficient income, we asked Debbie what we could do, given our limited resources. She suggested that as students, we could try to raise awareness about the needy Bangladeshi workers so that more people may come forth to help out.
Creating awareness was a big part of what we wanted to do here, right within our own communities. The five of us then went on to organize a sharing session at NUS. Our main focus group was the Bangladeshi Student Society in NUS. They were in the best position to communicate, understand and support the largely Bangladeshi migrant worker community here. On that day, we screened a documentary detailing the plight many of these migrant workers faced. The stories were startlingly real and ugly. We also had 5 guests that day, the Bangladeshi migrant workers themselves. These men came and shared their circumstances, relating the glaring harshness of reality in their lives. Some were punched and kicked by employers who refused to pay them their salaries. Others came with the promise of being able to work and study, but ended up stranded as odd job labourers. There was even the startling truth of how some employers would even resort to kidnapping these migrant workers to send them home without their knowledge and choice, so as to evade paying them for their labour. The audience was visibly moved that day. There was an overwhelming support in the form of donations after the event, and many even stayed back to mingle with the migrant workers, getting to know each one of them as individuals. The students left pondering about the situation and why so little is done for such a glaring issue here in Singapore. Wanting to give back just a little bit to these migrant workers, we then went on to organize an entertainment night for these young Bangladeshi men who were stuck in limbo in Singapore. These men were faced with such unfortunate circumstances and had great burdens of survival and death on their shoulders. We thought it would be nice to have a night of fun and laughs for them, just to show that we can care as Singaporeans too. With the support of donations, we served delicious briyani rice and curry chicken, a Bangladeshi favourite eaten especially on special occasions. We also had carom and ludo games on the sidelines, also Bangladeshi favourites. We also screened Itadi, a phenomenal variety show loved by the entire Bangladeshi nation. Many were glued to the screen that night as we screened an episode yet to be shown in Singapore. We ended the night in really high spirits as we realised how far our journey had come. It was a true reality check that day when the people who built our city with their hands suddenly became visible. They are people too, with families and loved ones back home, but why do we see them so differently? A lingering thought remains. What else can we do for them?